The Russia-Ukraine war has gone into the fourth year. The Trump administration has taken over on 20th of January 2025, and Trump, in his maverick ways, has shot off many executive orders like throwing out of illegal immigrants, policies on energy and climate, and also one of his major focus areas is trying to get peace in the world with the Israel-Hamas war to be stopped, and also he is cozying up with Putin to stop the Russia-Ukraine war, and he has backed out with his support in this war along with the European countries. The European countries now are in a lurch. So, because if the European countries have to support Ukraine, they need about 3 lakh troops, $240 billion, 1,400 tanks and 2,000 mechanized vehicles. So who gives all this? The UK, France, Germany? Who? Germany has said that now they want to bolster up their own military. Macron has met Trump, and the promise to Zelensky about his NATO membership, until he gets it, this war will keep going on, has now seen a wall because Trump has told that US does not help just for the heck of it, and we are not suckers. US has also started flattering the North Korean premier, called Zelensky a dictator, while Zelensky says that Trump is living in an age of disinformation created by Russia. And at the end of the day, who is losing out? It is Ukraine, with Zelensky, the comedian that he is, has got devastated, and Russia is on top. The Russian economy may have gone down, but then it is bolstering up its military so that the European countries which are supporting Ukraine do not get a chance, and Russia has gone all out to finish off Ukraine. But then there are peace talks which may happen because top officials have met in Saudi Arabia, and Saudi is going to be the playing ground for Putin and Trump to have peace talks. But then everyone says that Zelensky also should be there on the peace table, but presently Trump is not in a mood to get him onto the peace process. But finally, he is the one who is going to bear the brunt. So he needs to be there. And before I move ahead, we have an NGO with a tagline of right to education for the underprivileged, and also an e-com site called SONAJURIARTS, where we showcase the art of West Bengal, and every purchase that you make goes to help improve the quality of life of these artisans and their families. So moving on, President Donald Trump has opened the doors to negotiation with the Russian President Vladimir Putin over ending the war in Ukraine, in equal measure spurring hopes for peace and fear that Moscow would use the opportunity to manipulate the situation to its advantage against a beleaguered Kyiv. While Trump wrote on the social media that a 90-minute call that the both leaders concurred on the desire to stop the millions of deaths taking place, and that Washington and Moscow work very closely. Here, Mr. Putin had expressed readiness to receive American officials in Russia regarding areas of mutual interest, including, of course, the topic of Ukrainian settlement. Trump's call, including specifics on a ceasefire and also possibility of the meet in Saudi Arabia represents a break from the status quo, which since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022 has seen Kremlin face diplomatic isolation and crippling Western NATO sanctions. Although Biden had in this context made his administration's view on Putin clear when he described the Russian president as a murderous dictator and a pure thug, Trump promised even during the campaign leading to the 2024 presidency that he would end the war within 24 hours after being sworn in, and he is tying peace talks so that peace can be brought out between these two countries. And this would mark a breakthrough in terms of bringing Putin to the negotiating table, an outcome that has so far appeared impossible because Putin quite stubborn and rigid in his ideologies. And given Moscow's resolve to press on with the war plan, on the other hand, the terms of negotiation hinted so far by the Trump administration made it likely that the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky will have to accept an unpalatable outcome. This appears inevitable given that the US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth suggested that no US troops would be committed to Ukraine in any further security arrangement, that Ukraine would not be invited to join NATO, and the option of Ukraine reverting to pre-2014 borders prior to Russia annexing Crimea would be virtually ruled out. Indeed, Zelensky would not be wrong to assume that US's promise to sustain NATO support for Ukraine for as long as it takes has been univocally betrayed by the Trump administration's stance on the subject. This denouncement is likely to have profound and damaging impact on the security and economy of not only Ukraine but also of EU. Because like I brought out in my previous video on the economy of the European Union, this war has also shown its effect on the economy of the European countries. So Trump is basically also trying to cozy up with Putin and also giving China a chance because maybe he wants to distance Russia and China. His flattery for the North Korean premier is also because North Korea supports Russia in the war and also China. So if he tries to distance these two countries from Russia by getting a shaking hand to Putin, the war could stop, and also China's competition to be a superpower with US can be curbed by getting Russian help and also trying to put the North Korean maverick premier's ideas in control, and also has given nearly $183 billion as aid to Ukraine to sustain this war, which is also showing its effect on the US economy. So Trump is trying to get all these things right and trying to be the peacemaker in the world. So let us keep watching whether his plans succeed and Putin comes onto the peace table and Zelensky accepts whatever is given to him, because he has nothing much to get. He has to agree to whatever is given. So let us keep watching what happens in the future. Keep watching my channel for further updates. Jai Hind.